Inspired by the vision of businessman and philanthropist Terry Snow, Willinga Park has developed into a world-class equestrian facility, catering to all types of horses. Located at Borley Point on the New South Wales coast and set across 2,300 pristine acres, Willinga Park also features stylish architecture and magnificent gardens, and it's become a mecca for horse enthusiasts and visitors alike. Willinga is also the spiritual home of camp drafting, a booming equestrian sport with a rich tradition built on droving, and it's a sport that has taken Australia by storm. Willinga Park also hosts the biggest camp drafting event in the land, the World Championship Gold Buckle, staged in a state-of-the-art, purpose-built stadium. The Gold Buckle is Australia's premier camp drafting event, drawing over 500 of the country's best riders, all competing for the prestigious title and over $400,000 in prize money.
It used to be a sport that was mainly for people that were on the land. They were drafting horses that they worked on during the week, but now it's become so much more. It's become a little bit more professional, where people are wanting to come out and buy horses and watch these professional guys compete on them a lot more. With what we've done at Willinga, projecting a lot more money into the sport. You get more money in the sport, it's going to get more professional.
Guys started, skiting about which one had the better horse or which one's better, and yeah, I'll take this one, I'll put this one around, and then I suppose it just sort of graduated from there. That culture of being on the land, working stock with the horses, it's just come past and parcel that to come into camp drafting, and then, as they say, the rest is history.
It's our heritage, it's a part of Australia and it's a part of our heritage.
I've grown up loving it, probably in the blood, because I had grandfather done it and a father done it. They were quite successful at it. I love everything about it. I love the fact of what it takes to actually make that top horse, to be a good competitor. I suppose it's just the challenge of it, that you want to get to that top level, you want to have that good horse, and it takes years to accumulate.
Sort of a way of life with us. It's just what you do out in the bush. You go and chase one around and bring it back to the mob, and if you've got a mob that you've got to cut one out, you do it. It's just a progression. There's
a lot better drafts that are coming on now with the bigger prize money. Horse values, has gone through the roof. The breeding and bloodlines have sort of always been there. But yeah, I'm mainly amazed at the amount of people that we have in our sport now that is still growing every year.
It's sort of man and the beast. Amateurs to sort of very sort of experienced competitors. Once they're on that horse and once they're chasing that beast, that again the adrenaline takes over, and keeping that control and keeping those emotions contained. It's sort of every person for himself then, and I think that's what makes it super exciting. It is sort of probably one of the least controlled sort of equine sports, and I think that's why people are so taken by it.
More than just a sport, for many people, camp drafting is a way of life and a social outlet for the whole family to enjoy.
It's a family-orientated sport to start with. The whole family can go there and compete.
Every weekend you go away and you catch up with people that their kids all go to school together or see each other, compete against each other, and extended family basically is the camp draft world.
Mum, dad, kids, everyone can do it. It's one of the best sports I've ever been involved with as far as it's family orientated. People knowing we're looking out for one another. The kids all sort of grow up together, they all get along. And someone always knows, looking out for one another. That's probably one of the biggest things.
Every weekend there's little babies, little kids right through to grandparents or great-grandparents coming to watch, and that 9 times out of 10 have been there, done that, and are coming to watch the next generation come through.
Terry Snow has a passion for stock horses, and he's been a driving force behind the growth and popularity of camp drafting.
Terry's come onto the scene a few years back and made a pretty big bang in the industry, buying horses, and he likes excellence. He likes the best of the best. He's extremely passionate about having quality horses and competing, and he's like anyone else, but he likes to win.
As a competitor, I personally, you can't thank him enough for what he's done and what he is doing for our sport.
I guess what we all love about Terry is that, you know, you could pass him on the street and he just seems like just another fella on the street, and he comes across that way as well. But yeah, then to support the camp drafters is just, you know, we all really appreciate being able to compete.
Like most sports, to be an elite camp drafting competitor takes time and dedication, and there's nothing quite like time spent in the saddle.
It takes time to get a horse trained. They don't normally come good till they're sort of hitting that 7, 8, 9-year-old. Their peak years are probably from 8 to 12-year-old. Because you've got racehorses, most of them have finished their career at 3 and 4, a lot of them, but with our sport it's a time thing. I've always said you only get out of it what you put in it. If you don't put the hard yards in during the week, don't whinge when you don't get any ribbons on the weekend. So
you've got to be able to have that ability to you know, read a cow, work your horse. Yeah, there's a fair bit of skill. You want to be good at something, you got to train, you got to practice, you got to put the miles in, and results always speak for themselves. Yeah.
A lot of hours in the saddle, a lot of riding, a lot of time working your horses from when they're young. And
you have to put the time in. It's like anything. You have to be dedicated, give 110%. You look at the top guys that are doing this sport, they're on their horses all the time. They're working them, they're training them, they're putting the hours in long after days are finished. They're out there in the dark still working, going. It's like any other sport.
One of the greatest attractions of the sport is the sheer challenge of the task. Between rider, horse and cow, there are 3 variables at play, and it's easier said than done.
your cattle themselves they've got a mind of their own. That's why the sport's so difficult. Like if you're playing polo or polo cross, it's you against the other opposition, and you've got a whole nother mind than chasing a steer, trying to put it around a course. And plenty of times they don't want to do what you want to do, and you're trying to coax them around a course, a figure 8 and back through a gate. So there's a lot of variables there.
The big thing is you could do not very well and then you can go back and you could do very well, like on the same day. You can, it's just a bit of a roller coaster, and I think that's the whole part that keeps everyone, it's not an easy sport.
If you don't do it right, you get your horse a bit over anxious and step him up there when he shouldn't be doing it, and yeah, and it's just keeping them composed and getting them organised to do what they want to do and help them do it, yeah.
BJ Comiskey, he won it the first 2 years in a row, and Ben Hall's won everything in Australia, and they were sitting on the back fence last year when the finals on. Like that's camp drafting. Like some weekends are diamonds and some are dust. You got to enjoy the good ones because you got plenty of bad ones too.
There's 3 animals you really have to control, and that's the cow, the horse, and then your mind very quickly, yeah.
Knowing your cattle and picking that right beast that's going to run on but not be too wild or too strong. You want a nice, soft sort of heifer or steer that can bend off your horse and move away from you. So it all starts there. Yeah, I guess you've got to have that right beast as well as have your horse working how you want it to work.
I've actually had people say to me, oh, it wouldn't be that hard, and then they've come on and they've gone out and purchased a horse and they've started camp drafting, and they're like, oh, geez, I can't get one round, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I said, it's not quite as easy as you think, is it? That's why it's such a big thing to win the Gold Buckle Willinga Park, because it's over 4 rounds, over 4 head, and to have your horse and everything go right for that period of time, it's just massive. It's so hard to win. Like you've just got to have everything go your way and then everything working right, and then you just got to have that little ounce of luck when you need it.
As the profile of the sport continues to increase, the prize money grows, and with it, the value of horses. The sport is becoming more and more competitive.
It's getting harder to win these events. People are putting more time in getting their horses trained. They're buying these horses that are professionally trained, and it's getting highly competitive.
When you go out there to ride, or you ride into that camp to go, you're there to win. You're there to give it your best, give it your all.
I ride against the men and the women. The women are super competitive these days, so it's really anyone's game out there, so you ride to win.
I think our sports, at the moment, we're sitting on a bit of a gold mine. I think this sport, with our numbers and what we've got in it and how it's growing, I think it can go to a whole new level.
We all like to win, like we all, we like to get our horse and show our horses there, but we still all know when one bloke picks a good beast and does a good round, we're all pleased for him.
Win, lose or draw, everyone's back, we can have a beer, we can sit down, we talk. It's all no dramas at all, and the mateship is unbelievable.
Everyone wants everyone to do well. They want to see everyone ride safely, they want to see them on a good horse. They want to see them compete at a safe but a good level.
A big increase in prize money is taking the sport to a whole new level, with the Gold Buckle Campdraft now offering $100,000 to the winner.
The money that was in the sport 5 years ago as to what it is now, and with what Willinga Park's done with the $100,000 for the winner, it's taken the sport to another level. If you'd asked 90% of the guys that 7 or 8 years ago, did you ever think you'd be riding around for 100,000? They'd just laugh at you and say, no one will have a draft worth 100,000 to the winner. And here we are, we're about to run our 4th year at Walinga at nearly $500,000 in prize money.
Yeah, they come from everywhere down to Willinga. You won't see much better camp drafting.
When you're competing for $100,000 first prize, it gets competitive. Everyone wants to win the $100,000. Everyone wants to win the Gold Buckle. Who doesn't?
No doubt Troy will be there in fine form, and Ben Hall will no doubt come down. Pete Comiskey, they'll all be there.
Troy Palmer, he's probably one of the most dominant here in New South Wales. You got the likes of Ben Hall. I find he's the hardest man to beat in the country at the moment. He's going to be there. You got Pete Comiskey. You know, he's won it twice before. And believe me, that's just to name 3 or 4 at the top.
It's the best of the best. Everyone's there riding their best horses. You don't take down your sort of mediocre horses, you take down your best horses.
The best of the best will be there, I can assure you of that.
While camp drafting is a sport that can be learnt in an arena, there's nothing quite like real-world experience, and competitors who muster cattle for a living are at a distinct advantage.
Guys like PJ and myself, Ben Hall, the likes of that, we've grown up mustering cattle and working with cattle our whole lives. Yeah, we know we've got an advantage. Like, you learn to read cattle, you learn to work cattle out, but they're doing it every day. They're mastering and they're around cattle, and it helps. It, honest to God, helps. Like, if you're working and doing that, and that's in your work, and then that's what you're doing for play on the weekend as well, of course you're going to be advantaged if you're working around them all the time.
Being able to do that day in, day out, it's like second nature. You know, we are lucky to be able to do that. You see so many times a lot of, you know, weekend competitors now that they struggle a lot to get going. Once they're going, they're fine, but it can take a long time to get the feel, get the, you know, your mind around what you need to do. And
it comes a bit more naturally, I guess, if you're coming in and not having that basic knowledge of cattle and horses, and you can definitely work on it, that's for sure, but it's a bit more natural for those who come off the land and used to handling the animals.
I think that's just the privilege that some of us have. You know, we're able to have that sport that is what we do through the week, and you know, we muster cattle, we sort cattle, and I think it's a privilege, mate, because there's not too many other professions we'd like to do.
Willinga Park's first-class facilities and pristine setting provide the perfect backdrop for Australia's premier camp drafting competition.
There's nothing like Willinga Park in the world. The facilities from just everything, the equestrian centre, the dressage facilities, the stables, it's world class. Like, you could go anywhere in the world and you won't find anything like it. It is a horse park for all occasions.
The complex down there is unreal. It's brush fellas out in the bush. It's a bit of the bright lights is a bit different.
The facilities are incredible. It's more like a holiday, really. You're going down there and the sculptures.
Second to none. Like, it's got the best of everything you need there. You know, you can't complain about the setup at all.
I had the privilege last year. I went with Troy on a little bit of a tour around there and had a bit of a look about, and mate, it is a slice of paradise.
I think what's so special is that sort of Terry, with his vision, has sort of tried to sort of create a facility for all type of horses, not only camp draft horses, stock horses, but we've got top facilities for show jumpers, eventers, dressage horses, and nowhere there is any compromise. Every facility, every discipline is allowed to shine, and I think, yeah, that's something you don't see anywhere else in Australia, but probably not even in the world.
And just to add to the mix, Willinga Park is about to open a high-tech veterinary hospital, headed up by world-renowned reproductive expert Dr. Eric Clowie.
I think the great thing about this hospital will be that we've used all the state-of-the-art sort of knowledge and equipment, not only sort of from a veterinary point of view, but I think also from an architectural point of view, we've got an absolute state-of-the-art IVF lab for horses as well, and I think it's really going to set us apart from the rest. When we're dealing with, say, stallions which have fertility issues, we can sort of sift through frozen semen and pick the viable sperms out we think are going to do the job for us. We get those prepared and then get them ready to inseminate sort of in the unfertilized egg. And that hopefully will then set us up for successful embryos and pregnancies.
With more money coming into equine sports like camp drafting, breeding is playing an increasingly important role.
The breeding side becomes more and more sort of, I think, important because we now sort of in the last 20, 30 years see sort of particular lines doing extremely well, and everybody sort of who is involved in the sport wants to tap into those lines. And again, this is where sort of our lab will play a prominent role because it will allow us to sort of get more offspring of particular mares or get more offspring of certain stallions. These are all sort of pieces of equipment we need to do that sort of egg preparation. These are some of the incubators where those eggs will be prepared. Here's our ICSI microscope. These are all the incubators where we will grow out those embryos, hopefully successfully. This is in particular sort of interesting for the stock horses, the cutting horses. All this can sort of aid to get a successful result for not only our Willinga mares, but hopefully also outside clients in the future. My dream and ambition is sort of with Terry's help and the support that Walinga is going to be sort of a prominent leader, not only in reproductive sort of technologies, but I think in sort of equine surgery and medicine as a whole.
Like everything at Willinga Park, Terry Snow strives for perfection, and he's left no stone unturned in an effort to create the world's best equine hospital.
Absolute privilege that Terry has your back because he sort of allows you to dream bigger than you dare to dream, and sort of with that encouragement, it really lets you sort of make and create or be part of something which is going to be sort of right at the top.
With the Camp Drafting World Championships now just around the corner, all roads lead to Willinga Park and the battle for the prestigious Gold Buckle.
Willinga is certainly next level. It has taken the camp draft world by storm. The biggest thing is the vision of Willinga and most importantly Terry Snow and his team have got. Mate, it will make our industry.
Willinga Park's out by itself. It's $100,000 to win in a Gold Buckle. Like, it's a life-changing draft.
Obviously there's a lot of money up, well, but the experience is definitely, and the people, it's just, it's great.
The next level, and it's big money up, and how everything looks down there, it's just, it's a 5-star camp draft.
The prize money that's involved, everything that Terry Snow and Willinga Park have done for camp drafting is pretty unreal. It's taken the sport to a new level.
The Gold Buckle is the biggest camp draft in Australia, well, in the whole Southern Hemisphere. Adds another dimension, I think, to sort of how popular the sport is becoming.
The viewing area for the public, like, it's purpose-built for viewing, for the crowd to watch and be up close and close to the arena. And when you're there, mate, and it's on that Saturday afternoon, you're in the final and you know you've really stepped your horse up and you've cut one out and you know you've put one round, done a big round, you're just about to come through that gate and you hear the crowd down there and you got 7,000 or 8,000 people down there and they're appreciated. Well, they know when you've gone through the gate and done a good round. It's a pretty good feeling. Like
the buzz and the warmth you get inside, and from the people cheering on the side to waving to the little kids on the sideline, it's unbelievable.
The spectators are like with their nose right on the horses and the cows, so you can't get any better. Everybody is sort of almost riding with the rider. That's how sort of good it is and how close you can get sort of to the sport, and I think that's why it's so popular, not only for the competitors but also for the spectators.
When you know that something you've started, something you've broken in, you've brought along yourself, done it all yourself from the breeding right through to when you get that good open horse that you go out there and you can do that 91, 92 round, and that's a pretty good feeling, that's for sure.
We've got a massive team at Walinga that helps run the event, Chaddy and Laura and and Terry overseeing everything. But everyone comes together down there to run the event. Last year we run it absolute perfect.
Yeah, there's nothing like it anywhere else in the country. And like I say, it's sort of just the Wimbledon of camp drafting, I guess.
Willinga Park is definitely now that one, oh, you're going to Willinga, it's that, yeah, you just sort of nearly assume everyone's going to Willinga now. It's made a real name for itself.
When you're there on TV and you got these crowds in there screaming and yelling, for me personally, I like that. I think it's great and it's great for our sport. Like the atmosphere in there is second to none. You're lucky enough to win it, then you can walk away saying, well, you won a pretty special event with a lot of top competitors there.
Last year, it was Michael Hiscock taking the Gold Buckle and the $100,000 purse. But he'll have his hands full this year, with any number of contenders looking to take his crown.
So Mick's a good fellow and a very strong competitor, and he's won a lot of good things, and you know, it was great to see him do that last year. Yeah, seems to be very strong in the mind, and when he just has that determination to win, and
just to have that gold buckle on and to know you won the biggest camp draft in Australia, the biggest paying camp draft. And if I win on one of Terry's horses, we might have to have an arm wrestle or toss a coin or something to see who gets the buckle.
It's definitely something I'll be riding for. I'll go there to try and win it, but yeah, that would be just a real special moment. And I could probably nearly retire, I reckon.
Yeah, to win that event, that gold buckle, that's what we're all chasing. I guess the prize money that comes with it is always nice.
Well, to win Willinga would be, yeah, it'd be the next, but there's a lot of competition there. I wouldn't go thinking that I'm going to win it, but it would be, yeah, very good.
The show they put on down there, the level of competition, the professionalism, from the grounds to the venue, it would be just, it'd be unbelievable.
I think it's only going to keep growing. The things that Terry Snow and Willinga Park, it's just getting bigger and bigger, and there's a bright future for the sport.
You just pray all the time about going to a place like that, and you just hope you can make it to the final and do good. But, you know, there's a lot of good horses, a lot of good competitors, but you also got to have that little bit of luck go your way. Fortunate enough to draw a couple of decent cattle. That's one place, yeah, I really want to do well here.